This is who they are.
This is not who
This is who they are.
No, it is
You're
not.
saying that, well, hold on. You're saying that Democrats are Nazis? Is
I'm
that
saying
what
it's
you're saying?
it's very on brand right
I'm
now.
sorry.
Very on brand.
Getting a Nazi tattoo.
Getting a Nazi tattoo made him more popular.
I don't think it made him more popular
among Democrats. You've got a guy running for attorney general in Virginia who wants to murder Republicans, and
But this is who they are. Who's they?
look at the polling. Look at the energy.
This is
Look,
not about the
this is
polling.
who they
This is
want.
not about the polling.
This is who they want. I've been out here for a year, 2 years, listening to every Democrat at this table say, Donald Trump's a Nazi, Elon's a Nazi, and your party is now in love with a guy with a Nazi tattoo who trained to...
About this at the end of the show, Zoran Mamdani feels like another example. Obviously, he doesn't have a Nazi tattoo, but there's a lot of alarming reporting coming out about his ties to terror sympathizers. So it seems like there is at least this year.
Ties over terror sympathizers.
Party where their energy is wants the Nazi tattoo guy. That's what they want.
75% of Democrats.
I will be sure to inform the black guys I know with bolts that they're Nazis now.
Oh.
So,
I got a black friend.
so again,
okay.
Look,
Hello, everybody. Guys, we got the MAGA robot again, malfunctioning, and Trump's baby mama of the year, of course, Scott Jennings. Let's get into this segment, and we'll talk about it.
America is talking about a tattoo, the internet, and a high-stakes primary election for Maine's Senate seat. And tonight, old social media posts may be coming back to haunt Graham Plattner. He is the Democratic hopeful looking to fill Susan Collins' seat. And this week, Plattner said that he covered a chest tattoo that some people said looked like a Nazi symbol. And here's what it looks like right now. You can see it there. He claims that he didn't know what it meant when he got it.
Are you a secret Nazi?
I am not a secret Nazi. We did what Marines on Liberty do, and we decided to go get a tattoo. And we went to a tattoo parlor in Split, Croatia, and we chose a terrifying looking skull and crossbones off the wall because we were Marines, and, you know, skulls and crossbones are a pretty standard military thing. But CNN's K-File dug up Planter's now deleted Reddit post from 6 years ago that undercut that claim. In one thread, Plattner weighed in on a conversation about the Totenkopf, which is the Nazi version of the skull and crossbones. And someone else in the thread brought up the fact that some of the Navy SEALs use the so-called Punisher skull as their emblem. And Plattner writes in part, when I was in Ramadi as a Marine grunt, the SEAL platoon we worked closely with for the deployment all had the Punisher skull spray painted on their armor carriers. CNN also spoke to an acquaintance of Plattner's from more than a decade ago who said that he spoke about his tattoo resembling a Nazi symbol. And a second person told CNN that the acquaintance told them that Plattner had described it as a Nazi-style design. Plattner's campaign declined to comment on this story, but it goes from bad to worse. What now, Sochi? And why are so many Democrats unwilling to say this is not going to work? This is not acceptable.
Well, I think this new reporting might change things, and I think that he actually needs to think about getting out of the race. You just mentioned this is a high-stakes race. Democrats don't want to be talking about this next fall. This is a seat that potentially Democrats could flip that could cost us potential control of the Senate. And so I think that there needs to be a little bit more pressure on him to resign. I think that it has gone too far. And the fact that we are a year from the election and we are talking about a scandal involving, you know, something that at this point is solvable. If he were to get out of the race, Democrats could potentially have another rising candidate and could go ahead and beat Susan Collins. But at this point, if he moves forward, Democrats aren't winning the seat.
I hate to break the news to you, but he's winning the primary by 30 points.
Well, I think that's why he needs to get out.
Getting a Nazi tattoo made him more popular.
I don't think it made him more popular
among Democrats. You've got a guy running for attorney general in Virginia who wants to murder Republicans, and he raised $500,000 off of it. You got Nazi tattoo guy in Maine. I sat out here for a year, 2 years, listening to every Democrat at this table say, Donald Trump's a Nazi, Elon's a Nazi, and your party is now in love with a guy with a Nazi tattoo who trained a left-wing paramilitary group and called himself an Antifa super soldier on the internet, and he's going up every day. Good luck getting him out.
Your president.
Good luck getting him out.
The person that you nominated.
Good luck
pardoned 1,600 insurrectionists. I don't think the Republican Party has.
You're not going to wash away the Nazi tattoo with your old talking points.
And what did I just say? What did I just say? I said that he should resign.
Good luck.
And I think that Democrats should
Scott,
all
are you making
speak
the
out
argument that he should stay in? You seem to be very eager to defend his strength in the primary.
I am but a humble political analyst, and I will just tell you that when you're winning a race by 30 points, if a pundit on television tells you, well, you need to think about dropping out, you laugh in their face.
I don't know. I feel like,
this is a year out.
I feel like you ought to take the...
Listen, I'm happy to be an anti-fascist super soldier. I'm completely fine with that. But look at this little creep, Scott. He's so excited that this happened. Let me go at this weird fuck for a second. You see how he was obviously absent when those group texts came out from those Republicans? Like, he wasn't anywhere to be found on CNN. And I think Plattner should go F himself. But I'll talk about that later. This isn't a theme in the Democratic Party. This isn't a pattern. I've said this 1,000 times. We can go with, how many things we can go with? We can go with, the Jews are starting the California fires with space lasers. How about we can go with, the Jews will not replace us chanting in the streets? How about the classic Nazi salute that Scott, along with every damn near every Republican, defended and said, no, it wasn't that. It wasn't a Nazi salute. He was just spreading love. Yes, because the man that said empathy is a human flaw was spreading love. Like, shut the F up. How about we can go with the white replacement theory that Republicans constantly talk about? Like, should we go more? How about more recent, right? They might bitch about that. Should we go more recent? What happened recently? Anything comes to mind? Yes, a week ago, the group of Republicans saying they love Hitler and want gas chambers for their opponents. Like, why is no one bringing that up to Scott? You know what Hitler and the Nazis violently did to the Jewish people? Your party talks about this, that they want to do this to their opponents. How about even more recent, just 2 days ago, that Trump nominee, Paul Ignacio, something like that, saying he has a bit of a Hitler streak. Like, I mean, come on, Papi, what are we doing here? Cut the shit.
The agreement when it's happening. I mean, she's saying pretty clearly he should leave the race.
I want Democrats to be who they are. This is who they are.
This is not
who they are.
No, it is not.
Hold on, you're saying that Democrats are Nazis?
I'm saying it's very on brand right now. Very on brand.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, Scott. Really, like, are you suggesting that, like, a person who wears a Nazi tattoo because he was in the military or whatever is representative of the entire Democratic Party? Is that the...
I'm only reading the polling, Abby. When all this story broke and he started talking about it, he literally got more popular. He's beating the incumbent governor of Maine by 30 points.
You realize that he's running in one state, in Maine, and you're also saying that because of that, he's representative of the Democratic Party. You said this is who they are. Who is they?
Look at the polling. Look at the energy.
This is not about the polling.
This is
not about the polling.
This is who they want. Bernie Sanders wants him. The beating heart of the Democratic Party, where their energy is, wants the Nazi tattoo guy. That's what they want.
75% of Democrats polled in that state did say that he stands with their value, and that was after the initial.
What was the number?
75%. That's according to Real Clear Politics. So that was after, and again, who knows? Maybe this ultimately will be disqualifying, what the K-File has reported, but nothing thus far, even very incriminating reports, haven't been enough to assuage or concern voters and encourage him to drop out. And it's an interesting point because, you know, Bernie Sanders, a lot of folks, even just this morning, continue to stand by him. So I'll wait to see what this new report does.
Let me play what Bernie Sanders has said about this. Let's play the Bernie clip.
I think if this country is about anything, it's about understanding that every person, me, you, everybody else, has gotten dark moments in our history, and we go on.
So you're standing by your endorsement?
Absolutely.
That's embarrassing.
So,
I'm sorry, that's embarrassing because, look, I understand that why the reason so many Democrats are holding the line is because they're looking at the Republicans and they're saying they always hold the line and it doesn't matter how embarrassing, how awful their candidate is. And so they're saying we need to do the same thing. And I'm saying, no, don't do the same thing. That dude doesn't represent me. We need to assess our entire American political value system. having a Nazi tattoo should be disqualifying. Yeah. Period. End of sentence. Yeah. Like, this guy doesn't represent the values of the Democratic Party. He represents maybe the values of Maine, which is frightening enough. And I'm just saying that, like, I don't think the way that you return fire with the Republicans is by going as low and as ridiculous as they do. Like, you can't stand yourself apart. You know what they say about arguing with a fool? From a distance, you can't tell who is who. And right now, it's like the reason that people make those arguments about both parties being the same is because of stuff like this.
You know, you acknowledge that some of this polling that we're talking about is before all of this. There are two things that you should keep in mind. One is that he initially claimed that he didn't know the connection between the tattoo and Nazi symbols. He said while he was in the military, he enlisted in the Army. It involves a full physical exam of all the tattoos that he has. It never got flagged. He passed a full background check to receive a security clearance to join the ambassador to Afghanistan security detail, not flagged in any of those situations. However, CNN's reporting today finds that in a 2020 online discussion that he said that the SS lightning bolt tattoos were a culture marker within Marine Scout sniper units. That is something that is probably worth scrutiny, if that is true. He also says he has no idea what they're talking about and about the criticism of it, and I will be sure to inform the black guys I know with bolts that they're Nazis now.
Oh.
So,
I got a black friend.
So again,
okay.
Look, I do think that.
Yeah, Jamel's right. Like, you guys, do you see how black people just get thrown into things? This is probably the furthest thing away from black people. This is amazing. Jamel is right. I got a black friend comment. That's exactly what that was. So I can't possibly be a racist, right? Look at my black friend. Look at my Afghanistan driver. Like, Hispanic Monopoly man, Geraldo Rivera said yesterday. Like, plus, I want to see this bolt, these two S bolts, Nazi tattoos on a black man. I don't believe that shit. F that. I want to see that. And again, I need to say this. White people out there, what the F is this obsession with this little tweaky murderous freak Hitler? I'm not trying to get anyone riled up, but I need to be direct. We all need to when discussing these conversations. I know it's not all white people, obviously. When I'm talking about these things, I'm never talking in absolutes. I don't believe in those kind of things. Guys, black and brown people don't get caught up ever having one of these Nazi tattoos or whatever, or any type of racist tattoo. So there is, without a shadow of a doubt, a racial element here in my belief, in my perspective. I don't know what it is. A white dominance thing. There's something there. I mean, or is it just that, oh, he was this evil white figure, Hitler, in history, so I'm white, so I'll get the tattoo because that correlation? You think it looks cool? Honestly, I don't understand. It just confuses me. I watched these World War II documentaries recently, and it's just effing horrific what the Nazis did. I mean, really unimaginable. To be glorifying these monsters is beyond my comprehension. What is going on in people's minds and hearts? I cannot begin to understand. Let the Republicans be the party of bigots, of racists. Let them be that. You will not have my support and people like me if we get into this. We're gonna accept like, how far do we go? If somebody says the N-word, do we just let it go because, hey, we let this other guy go for the Nazi tattoo? Are you effing kidding me?
This new information is new information, and it will be interesting to see what happens to some of that polling once voters have this information, because I do think it shows a bit of a different picture of, first of all, his truthfulness. I think that's in question. But secondly, whether or not he was fully aware of what he was getting into when he went there.
Yeah, well, now he's lied about it. That's on the record. But I'm not confident that we're going to see Bernie Sanders or some of these folks call on him to drop out. But I guess it is too soon to tell.
Bernie Sanders isn't the head of the Democratic Party. I think
he's not.
Absolutely not. Don't even.
Where's the energy?
Chuck Schumer.
Where's the energy of the party?
Here is what I will tell you.
Schumer
Scott
wants Mills.
Scott,
Sanders wants this guy, and he's winning by 30.
Let me tell you, when polling happens at this stage in a race, these are very engaged voters. These are not necessarily, and even then, not all voters right now are completely engaged in this race. So I will say that it will be interesting to see where the polling goes. Republicans will rush to try to make this person the head of the Democratic Party. And I will just warn you, I don't know how many times over the last few months you guys have said that it is dangerous whenever you're calling Donald Trump or anyone else a name like a Nazi or any sort of other name, and it leads to violence. I would be careful to frame all Democrats as
he literally
blaming
had
us
the
for the
Nazi
tattoos?
tattoo. He literally had the Nazi tattoo.
that the party, that is not the position of the entire party. And
Okay.
so if you're going to sit
He's
here
winning by 30.
and say it doesn't
In
matter
one
what
state.
he's winning, he is not reflecting
He is totally
the
unknown. And
entire
listen,
party.
listen, I understand you don't want to have this guy.
Shut your baby mama ass up. Looking. What the hell is wrong with some of these panelists? Just bring up the effing pattern, the theme in the Republican Party. This is a one-off. Find me anyone else that's Nazi sympathetic on the Democrat side. Like, bring up all the examples. There's so many of them. This party is filled to the brim with bigotry. They will not be able to explain it away. The Nazi saluting, the chanting Jews will not replace us. Space lasers, like, they would be freaking out. Those text messages that just came out. Gas chamber, Mr. I love Jewish people. Have him, ask him about corner him about that. Like, just bring up the pattern, the constant examples. Corner them. Don't let them dominate the conversation.
And I wouldn't either. He is a totally unknown guy, comes out of nowhere. He's got the full support of the left-wing, progressive, Sanders wing of the Democratic Party. And
Like everybody
he's beating.
Who supports Bernie Sanders?
Yes, look at the polling. And here's the most important thing. He's beating the incumbent governor of the state by 30 points. This isn't happening in a vacuum. People are comparing an establishment figure like Mills and this insurgent left-wing radical like Plattner, and they're like, you know what? We'll take the Nazi tattoos. It's fine. And I think look,
Well,
it may be early,
reporting.
but people are following this race, and the polling is pretty clear. It's not that close.
Look, I think this is not obviously the first time that we've had an unsavory candidate endorsed by the establishment, despite his past words. That happened in an
He's not endorsed by the establishment. She is.
Excuse me, but I'm saying, like, you're suggesting that this is representative of the Democratic Party. I'm just saying,
split,
in the past, you know, there was a Senate race in Alabama
That's right.
in which Donald Trump endorsed the candidate who had said all kinds of inflammatory things, all kinds of skeletons in his closet, and they ended up losing that Senate race to a Democrat. So it's happened before. This wouldn't be the first time. And by the way, I mean, I do think both of you seem reluctant to take yes for an answer. At this table, at least, you have two Democrats basically saying, this guy should go, and you guys are very insistent
I'm glad
that
they are,
he's
but
representative
he's not
of the
going
Democratic
anywhere.
Party when they're making it clear that he's
I
not.
just don't think this guy, look, he doesn't answer to you. I mean, I wish he did, and I wish you were in charge. He answers to the energy base in your party, and right now, the energy is behind these left-wing, progressive kinds of candidates. This is who they want.
We're talking about this at the end of the show. Zoran Mamdani feels like another example. Obviously, he doesn't have a Nazi tattoo, but there's a lot of alarming reporting coming out about his ties to terror sympathizers. So it seems like there is at least this year.
Ties over terror sympathizers. All right, as you noted, we will talk about it.
Somebody get the IT guy here. This robot is effing up again. Like, Mamdani, like, why are you? These people can't help their bigotry. They just really can't help it. So this is my thoughts, guys, and I would love to know your perspective on this. But I can make this very simple. This is horrible what Plattner did. In my belief, he should be effing gone. There's no space for this kind of shit. If you haven't noticed, I'm a hardliner when it comes to this kind of racist crap. If you haven't noticed yet. I can turn the cheek on a lot of things. And mistakes or crap you said, and you apologize, and the content of your character shows that you aren't this type of person, right? We all make mistakes. But I'm not voting for someone, and I may be alone here, who said the effing N-word either. I mean, it's very simple for me. Just put this as an example. I'm pragmatic enough to understand that we need to win, right? We need to take away power from these maniacs. Sure, yes, but there is a line that if you cross, I will say, F all of you. And that Nazi and racist shit is one of them. Let me know in the comments, but I see that as, again, what else do we excuse? Are we gonna excuse someone saying the N-word? I mean, hey, well, we let this guy with a tattoo. How far do we go? Like, we can get another person. We don't want that other one, Mills, whatever. We can get another person. We still have a whole year. This could be very dangerous, I think. Because again, what's the next thing? What's the next scandal that someone can get away with? I don't know about you, but I won't be taking my chances with any effing bigot. I want these people ousted from society and deep, deep into despair where they effing belong. Let the Republican Party welcome them with open arms. They already do. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Please leave a like, subscribe. It really helps the channel, really helps spread the message out there. And I'll catch you in the next.